Good morning, everyone, again. Good morning. Welcome to our October Shotsuki service. This is my first time doing the English Dharma talk, so I'm a little nervous, but hope you enjoy. It's hard to believe it's already October because we only have 3 months left for this year, and this year has been very busy for me. There has been a lot of transition for me. I moved around a lot, and I also just moved into my apartment, and so before I start, I wanted to take a moment to say thank you to everyone who's been helping me out during this transitioning time. My new apartment is coming together little by little, but I couldn't have done a lot of things without your help, so I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you. And tomorrow, I'm supposed to have this Q&A session with a class from Pepperdine University. Apparently, these students have read some articles regarding Buddhism, so they will be asking me questions based on that. So when I first got this offer, I thought, no, this is a little too early for me because, I just got here a month ago, and these students are like around my age, they're probably 20 years old, 21. So, I asked around for some advice, and I decided that I want to take this opportunity with the help of Bishop Ito. So, that's what's going on tomorrow. Anyway, so when I first got this offer, I asked the professor to give me examples of questions her students usually ask, because Peter Hatta, Rev. Peter, used to do this with Pepperdine University classes. So, and one of them, yes, thank you. Yes. So, I asked her what kind of questions they usually ask so I can prepare for it. And, those students are only exposed to the basics of Buddhism, so I'm expecting their questions would be more about the foundation of Buddhism. And one of the example questions that caught my attention was, how do you incorporate the Eightfold Path in your daily life? And I was shocked because honestly, I didn't know how to answer this question. But the Eightfold Path consists of below: right view, right thought, right speech, right conduct, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right meditation. And if you want to know the details of each aspect, our service book explains more on page 135. And this is one of the first teachings Shakyamuni Buddha has shared with his followers. However, we don't really put too much focus on this matter in Jodo Shinshu. But it doesn't mean that this isn't important for us. The Eightfold Path is the ultimate goal of Buddhist life. And the Eightfold Path was found as a solution to get rid of blind passions, especially those called three poisons, which are desire, hatred, and ignorance. However, I'm not sure if I can say that I'm practicing these daily with confidence. For example, one of the aspects is not to lie and only tell the truth. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Japanese proverbs. It's called kotowaza. But one of them even says, "Usotsuki wa dorobo no hajimari," meaning that he that will lie will steal. So like once you start lying, then you feel comfortable with that, and then eventually that might lead to something worse like stealing. So these sayings are often made to educate kids and teach them to do the right things. But realistically, there are some occasions that it's better not to tell the truth. For example, let's say if someone cooked you something and asks you, "Oh, do you like it?" And I'm sure a lot of you would say, "Yes, I do," even if it wasn't to your taste. Because in this case, basically it's a lie if you didn't like it. But then you say that so you won't hurt other people's feelings. Honestly, it's really hard to reflect these things in your daily life. And another aspect is not to rage. It teaches us not to rage, which I find very difficult, especially when it comes to driving in Los Angeles. I don't know how people not to get angry when you're driving here. So it feels almost impossible to me because anger is one of the natural emotions we have as human beings. Shindan's master's Honen, his father was basically a police officer back in time, but one day he was assassinated. And as Honen says goodbye to his father, he promises revenge on whoever killed him. However, his father tells him not to hold a grudge and tells him, quote, "My untimely death is the result of seeds sown in the past lives, a matter of karma. If you were to seek revenge, the children of your enemies would, in turn, target you as their enemy, perpetuating a cycle of vengeance for generations. It is foolish. If you truly care for me, consider becoming a priest, honor my memory, and seek the path of enlightenment for yourself." I think Honen's initial reaction of wanting revenge is a natural response. And he was only 9 years old when that happened. I would feel the same way if any of my family or friends were hurt or murdered. However, even if incidents like this happened, you're not supposed to get angry because Buddha believed that allowing the mind to experience anger, agitation, even dullness would keep a person from cultivating mindfulness and concentration. So anyways, I think a lot of Buddhist practices are hard to execute in our daily lives. And that's why a lot of priests get ordained and leave their home so they can focus on practicing disciplines that are impossible to work on as a layman. So before Shindan met the teaching of Nembutsu, he was also practicing Tendai Buddhism, and as well as many other priests, he secluded himself in a mountain for a very long time. But eventually, he realized that these trainings weren't helping him because no matter how hard he tried, he was failing to get rid of these blind passions. So I think this is one of the biggest reasons why we as Jodo Shinshu followers don't really focus on too much on these practices like Eightfold Path. Because Shindan proved that the true and only way to be enlightened is to recite the name of Amida Buddha and will salvaged only by other power. But again, I'm not saying that we can just ignore the Eightfold Path, because it is the first thing Shakyamuni Buddha shared after he got enlightened, and without him, all of us wouldn't have been able to meet the primal vow of Amida Buddha. So if I were to answer the initial question, honestly, I don't know if I'm actually practicing these things because simply in Jodo Shinshu, it's not a part of our main practice. But I'm nervous and excited for tomorrow's Q&A to see what kind of questions I will be asked by these young students. And I also find it interesting to interact with such young people because whenever I talk about Buddhism or Jodo Shinshu, it's usually always with those people who already have knowledge of it, at least a little bit. So this whole thing was kind of a reminder, or like it was an opportunity to rethink where it all started, even though these practices won't be your main focus. And, well, I kept saying that it's really hard to focus on these things in our daily lives, but then it is also nice to take a moment and, rethink or like reflect ourselves. It doesn't have to be about, Eightfold Path, but like something that we cherish in our daily lives. It's really important to reflect and then sometimes take a moment and stop and, oh, how am I doing it? How am I doing in my life? Like, am I doing good? But I just thought it was really important thing. So, well, it seems like a lot of people are getting sick from this weather change, and it's been really cooler and nicer these days, but Nancy said in 2 weeks it's going to be 90 degrees again. So please take good care of yourself, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.